In the ever-volatile world of international politics, few relationships have been as unpredictable as that between Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and former U.S. President Donald Trump. With speculation mounting over a potential Trump return to the Oval Office, the question of how Trudeau might handle a second term of Trumpian diplomacy has become a hot topic of conversation. Among those weighing in is John Bolton, former U.S. National Security Advisor, whose blunt and sometimes biting commentary offers a candid look into the challenges Trudeau could face. Bolton, never one to shy away from controversy, recently opined that if Trudeau wants to improve relations with Trump, he might need to embrace a strategy of flattery, even if it means stroking the ego of one of the most polarizing figures in modern politics. In an interview, Bolton suggested that Trump's style of diplomacy thrives on loyalty and deference, saying, "It's always possible if somebody kisses the ring. I mean, that's what Trump likes." His comment was both a sharp critique and a realistic assessment of Trump's approach to international relations, a transactional game where personal allegiance often takes precedence over policy. The stakes are particularly high for Trudeau, who has already endured a tumultuous relationship with Trump during the latter's first term. From threats of tariffs to dismissive remarks about Canadian sovereignty, Trump's treatment of Canada often left Trudeau walking a tightrope between protecting national interests and managing the erratic temperament of his southern counterpart. One particularly humiliating episode occurred after a surprise visit by Trudeau to Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The meeting, ostensibly aimed at easing tensions, quickly became a spectacle when Trump reportedly joked that if Canada's economy struggled under U.S. tariffs, perhaps the U.S. should absorb Canada as its 51st state. What followed was a social media firestorm. Trump posted an AI-generated image of himself with a Canadian flag, captioned with a patronizing "Oh Canada," and later referred to Trudeau as the governor of the great state of Canada. While Canadian officials dismissed these jabs as jokes, Bolton suggested otherwise, noting that Trump's comments often carry an underlying message. If asked, he'd say, "Of course it's a joke, but it's an indication of what he really thinks of Trudeau," Bolton said, characterizing Trump's behavior as both mean-spirited and strategic, a way to keep adversaries off balance. This leaves Trudeau in a precarious position. On one hand, maintaining a cordial relationship with Trump could help safeguard Canada's economic interests, particularly with Trump's fixation on tariffs looming large. During his first presidency, Trump's tariff policies wreaked havoc on Canadian industries, and the threat of a sweeping 25% tariff on all Canadian imports remains a sword hanging over bilateral talks. Bolton was candid in his skepticism about negotiating with Trump on trade, calling the former president's understanding of tariffs fundamentally flawed. He thinks the exporting country pays the tariff, Bolton said, pointing out that the cost actually falls on American importers and, ultimately, consumers, a nuance Trump seemingly refuses to grasp. Beyond trade, defense spending is another area of contention. Trump's criticism of NATO allies for not meeting the 2% GDP defense spending benchmark was a recurring theme of his first term, and Canada was often singled out. While Trudeau has pledged to meet the target by 2032, Bolton predicted that Trump would use this issue to repeatedly berate Canada. "It's not just about money," Bolton explained. "It's about Trump's broader skepticism of multilateral alliances, which he sees as limiting U.S. sovereignty. The path forward for Trudeau is fraught with challenges." Bolton pointed to former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe as a model of how to navigate Trump's personality. Abe managed to build a working relationship with Trump through consistent engagement and personal rapport, without resorting to overt flattery. However, Trudeau's progressive politics and focus on social issues could make it harder for him to strike a similar balance with Trump's America First agenda. At home, Trudeau faces his own political conundrum. Adopting a strategy of deference toward Trump risks alienating a Canadian electorate that largely views the former president with suspicion, if not outright disdain. Yet a confrontational approach could further strain Canada's relationship with its largest trading partner, with potentially devastating economic consequences. Bolton's remarks have reignited debates about how Trudeau should prepare for the possibility of another Trump presidency. While some analysts argue for a pragmatic approach focused on economic interests, others contend that Trudeau must stand firm, even if it means risking diplomatic fallout. Either way, the challenges ahead will test Trudeau's political acumen like never before. For now, as speculation swirls and the world watches, Trudeau finds himself caught between the need to protect Canada's interests and the reality of dealing with one of the most unconventional leaders in recent history. Whether he chooses to kiss the ring or forge his own path, one thing is certain. The dynamics between Trudeau and Trump will be a spectacle that captures global attention. The stakes go beyond mere political theater. With Canada so deeply intertwined with the U.S. economically, socially, and geopolitically, the dynamics of the Trudeau-Trump relationship could have far-reaching consequences. Observers note that any misstep by Trudeau might not only impact bilateral relations but could also reverberate across global diplomatic circles, where leaders are watching closely to see how countries navigate Trump's unique brand of politics. Adding to the drama is the undeniable tension between their personal and political ideologies. Trudeau, with his progressive stances on climate change, inclusivity, and multilateral cooperation, represents a stark contrast to Trump's America First agenda, which prioritizes domestic interests and often dismisses global consensus. These ideological differences were evident during Trump's first term, where their public exchanges were frequently marked by thinly veiled animosity. One particularly memorable incident occurred during a G7 summit when a hot mic caught Trudeau making critical remarks about Trump's tardiness and unpredictable behavior. The footage, which quickly went viral, reportedly infuriated Trump, leading to a scathing Twitter tirade and the abrupt cancellation of a planned bilateral meeting. Episodes like these highlight the fragile nature of their relationship, which has always seemed one misstep away from full-blown diplomatic fallout. Yet, despite these challenges, some believe Trudeau has learned valuable lessons from his first experience dealing with Trump. Insiders suggest that his team is already preparing for various scenarios, including how to handle Trump's penchant for using social media as a weapon. The strategy reportedly includes countering misinformation swiftly, maintaining a strong narrative about Canada's sovereignty, and emphasizing mutual economic benefits to temper Trump's more aggressive tendencies.